goodness, it's only preseason, but I'm hyped. Neil Funk, Jimmy G, buckets, gets buckets. Oh my goodness, give me the hot sauce, Neil Funk, give me the hot sauce. What are you doing, Dragic? Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs.
March Madness rolls on. It's time for a brand new episode of Gimme the Hot Sauce. Got brand new headphones that are kind of working, kind of not working. We got Cisco on. What's going on over here, Cisco? You all right? Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, way to call him out, Mark. Way to make him nervous over there. He's over there sweating right now. He's like, what did I do this time?
But that shirt fits. Looking good.
Yeah, the shirt. He's got a hoodie on. I like that. It fits. It's like 2 sizes too big, but it's good. It's cold outside. He's been working out.
Yeah.
Told me he just got a call from the Marines. Yeah. I told him, what did they say? They ask you, what do you want to do? What did they ask you?
When you grow up. What do you want to do when you grow up?
Yeah, that's what I want to do when I grow up.
Right.
Yeah, and he said, that's what the guy asked him, the recruiter. What are you going to do when you grow up? And I told him to tell him, I'm going to hang this phone up on you. Click. That's what I'm doing.
What did they see you in that tight T-shirt? Is that why they called you?
Must have been.
But he has a cousin, or he has a cousin in the military.
All right.
Listen. You do what you want to do. Whatever suits you well. I told him how I feel, what you need to do, because he's a smart kid. He wants to get into broadcasting. He had a special conversation with Adam Amin.
Oh, nice.
He did. Yeah. Adam gave him some advice, and after he was starstruck a little bit, he kind of was biting his tongue, and he was a little nervous. And Adam calmed him down, rubbed his head, said, it's okay.
Our guy Cisco, one of the stars of the Sriracha crew, doing double duty tonight.
And wait a minute. Welcome back.
Yeah, D's back.
Yes, there he is. That guy's got attitude, man. I take that back. I just retract that in the air. That welcome back. I'm just snatching it back. That guy's got attitude.
So we're anticipating clean audio tonight. Yeah. No issues.
He's our audio guy, sound guy. We surely missed him over the last couple of weeks, and he was a little bit abusive today for me.
He was nagging me earlier.
We got new headphones. We've upgraded the headphones. We went from some Prince Don Juan headsets we had last time. Now we got some new headphones, and so D was trying to tell me how to. Now it's not like I don't do this for a living, but I'm trying to hide the cord. And so he tried to come over and he tried to show me what to do. And then so he just slammed the headphones on my head, and then he slapped my ears like that.
Oh, man.
And, I was about ready to call the police and make a formal complaint, okay? Because that's what we do now. We're no longer fighting, Mark. I'm no longer fighting anybody. I'm just calling the police, okay? I'm going to get you arrested, okay? I'm trying to sue you.
Well, we want to start out the show with a bit of congratulations we want to pass along to our good friend Kendall Gill's son, Phoenix. They won their super sectional game. We are recording this episode on Monday night. Stacey, they won in double overtime. They beat Grays Lake Central 67-60 in double overtime. They advanced to the semifinals of the Class 3A State High School Tournament. They'll play Chicago Simeon on Friday. That'll be a tough ball game for them.
So they're getting to the states.
They're going down to Champaign, going down state, the state semifinals.
That's awesome, man. I'm so proud of Phoenix, man. He's going to end up being one of the top recruits before it's all said and done.
Good kid too.
He's like, but he's sophomore. He plays extremely, really like his dad. I mean, good defense, can shoot it. He might be able to shoot it better than Kendall at this stage. Probably not as good of athlete, but he's not a bad athlete. Yeah. Kendall could junk on everybody, but at that age. But I've watched him play a few times, and he's going to be a big time. He's still got growth. He's still going to grow. He's got that body to grow into his frame. He'll probably be about 6'4", 6'5". Easily.
Yeah, like his dad. So you got any great memories from your high school tournament days?
Well, you know what, man? America. I've been a winner my whole life, except my high school career. My coach cost us a chance. We made it to the Final Four in the Oklahoma State finals, and our coach decided that he wanted to coach instead of let the athletes play. And we got the chance to play the Final Four at Lloyd Noble Arena, where I ended up being a star.
All-American.
Jersey hung up over there. I didn't want to toot my own horn, America. Beep, beep.
Never.
But, shut your mouth, though, if you get throw punch. So we get to the Final Four. We got the number one team in the state. We end up playing a team that we'd already beat early in the year, Tulsa Memorial. They were kind of like Hoosiers. They ran plays. Mm-hmm. We didn't run plays. We just pressed and trapped and we turned you over. And our coach decided he wanted to coach. And we had all the athletes. We had 2 guys that went to play pro. We had some pro baseball players on our team. My high school is one of the top high schools as far as putting out professional athletes. And so that's how good our team was. I think we were like 27-4 that year. And he just decided to coach, man, try to run some plays instead of just turn the animals loose. Let us go, man. Let's just get the ball off the glass, push it. Let's trap. Let's, boom. And, we got out of our game plan and we got back cut to death.
And those are games you never forget. Playing with your friends in high school. I mean, those are special times.
You know what? You don't get those days back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You go back and you're wearing the Letterman's jacket and all that stuff, and then going to the school dances and stuff like that. You don't get that time back, but there's great memories. And then you meet up with guys you went to high school with. We still do the reunions. That's pretty cool to see everybody. Also special happy heavenly birthday to my man Coach Billy Tubbs. He would have been 88 yesterday. So shout out to him, one of the best coaches I've ever played for.
Whispers, you got any high school glory days stories?
Not really.
Moving right along.
There's things I can't talk about.
Why is that? Is there a restraining order, court order?
They're still under investigation.
Oh, my God. I was out of control.
I thought you were a pretty good athlete in high school. You were telling me you played some football, right?
Yeah, some football, soccer, and then I was on even floor exercise.
Okay, America, I can't take this lying anymore. I'm sorry, I had to break the news. Dun, 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 dun. We got breaking news. The truth about Timmy Whispers is he was in the band, and he played the tuba, and he also was in the Glee Club. And he sang, the school fight songs. He didn't play any sports, America. Yeah. He didn't become athletic until he was 30. Just throw that out there. I can't lie to the people anymore. You got to be honest, man. You can't be lying to the people.
Well, they know you're lying. They've heard me sing on this show. So I definitely wasn't in Glee Club.
Well, what we've been doing really is we've been stalling because we've got to talk about the Bulls, and we really don't want to. It's been a tough few days. Obviously, Kevin Durant and company came in here on Friday night, and they look really strong with Durant in that lineup. And then the Bulls, once again, the Indiana Pacers have had their number this year. Let one slip away. Stacey, what's your outlook? What's going on?
Oh, man, Mark. The Bulls are one of the best teams for 2 quarters, maybe 3. They'd be one of the top teams in the league. There's something about, man, where they get into these situations, and it seems like it's always the fourth quarter. We put up a graphic the other night against Indiana, where the Bulls had 21-point leads. They've had over like a 50 points total lead against Indiana until they see it, just disappear. And it's just like, you look at it and you go, what is the problem? What is the problem? You can point at it and say, well, it's defense, it's lack of ball movement, lack of, player movement. It's all the above. And then also not utilizing and saying, hey, look, you know what? Vooch has got the mismatches. Let's just go to him. Let's get him the ball. If he scores 50 inside, we're going to win. That's all we should all care about. Zach's playing out of his mind. He's playing good basketball right now, but it comes down to the fourth quarter where they just don't play together.
Yeah, Zach had 42 points in that loss to the Pacers, and he was making some really difficult shots. But, it comes down to so many situations. You get iso ball with either Zach or DeMar DeRozan trying to get a shot off. And, Billy talked about having a more wide-open, free-flowing offense. We really haven't seen that for most of the season.
No, because those guys are your all-star players. They're going to take the majority of the shots, those two. Zach and DeMar are going to take the most shots. And then Vooch is going to be the third guy in that group that's going to get shots. But the problem is that, on most nights, especially in the fourth quarter, you can't wait for guys to get going. If Zach's got it going, I say ride him. Like he had it going against Indiana the other night, and I said, hey, you know what? They should be going through him. Let him do the operating because he was unbelievable in the fourth quarter. But a lot of times it's just recognition. I want to say I don't want to say guys are not smart, but it comes down to basketball IQ. Seriously, let's just keep it real. No pulling punches. I'm not saying anybody's not. You're not saying you're a person is not smart or not stupid. Basketball IQ is how do we get the easiest shot? How do we take advantage of a mismatch? Who has the mismatch? What shot do we need to get on this possession? These are the things that you have to formulate as the game goes along because the game is so fast and the momentum can change within a second. Indiana can hit 3 threes and get like the kid Duarte hit 3 threes. All of a sudden, 10, 12-point lead goes down to 2, okay? What do we do now to respond? We got a pick and roll. Vooch rolls to the basket. He's got Halliburton in the post. That's an automatic read, automatic mismatch. The play now is over. you're no longer running in the play that you already had designed. You have now the mismatch that you want. It makes the game easier when you can exploit mismatches. The Bulls in the fourth quarter don't recognize me. It's not. I don't even think it's not that they don't recognize it. They don't care. Because it's just, I got a mismatch. I got a 7-footer on me out here. That's a mismatch.
Yeah.
But if you got a guy mismatched 5 feet from the basket and you're 30 feet from the basket, it's easier for a team to run another person at you and get the ball out your hands from 30 feet compared to throwing the ball down to someone who's 5 feet away from the basket. Double team comes down there. Now he can kick it back out to you and you get a wide open shot. So it's just concepts and understanding, what you're trying to get on every possession.
Well, if you're a glass half full kind of person like Stacey is, there's still plenty of time left in the season.
The glass is empty. It's not half full, Mark. I'm the biggest optimist. I'm not lying.
They're only a game and a half out of the 10th position, which means they still could make the play-in tournament.
Mark.
Yeah.
They're wearing my optimism thin, bro. Yeah. Seriously, I mean, every day I go home, I just pull out a bottle of bourbon. I don't even drink.
He just looks at it.
I just look at it. And I wonder what it tastes like.
So does Mike have to cheer you up on the ride home? No, you take yourself to the home game.
Yeah, I take myself to the home game. I still believe they're going to get in the play-in game. And I do believe they have a chance to come out of the play-in games. I do. They have too much talent. They have a lot of talent. Yeah. And what's going to happen here, what's going to have to happen is Billy's going to have to get tough. If you're not ready to play, and we're not going to wait for you for 2 quarters to get going. You got to come out. Someone else has got to step in, and you got to implore that with everybody, not just 1 or 2 players, not like the younger players, but everybody. If the veterans are not ready to play, I got to put somebody else in. Because Billy's quick to take out Patrick Williams. He's quick to take out Io and Kobe. Yeah. But we're at the last, how many games left? Like 15, 16 games?
Yeah, 16 or 17, something like that.
So we're down to nut cutting time. So there's no load management. There's no resting guys for, we got to rest them for tomorrow, back to back. There's none of that because you're not in position to be waiting anymore. So now it's like we got to come out ready to play. And if I'm the coach, if I'm Billy Donovan, I feel like the energy is not there, then I got to put some people in there that's going to give me some energy to win this ball game. And it's nothing personal. We're trying to win. We're trying to get to the playoffs. And if you're not ready to play, you got to come sit next to me, and maybe you can help me coach.
Yeah, now the Bulls have to go on the road for a couple of games. They play Nikola Jokic and the best team in the West, the Nuggets, on Wednesday. You looking forward to that trip?
It's a short trip. We're there for a day, but then we go to Houston. Yeah. And, Houston, I think Houston beat us early in the season. I think they beat us here. I don't remember.
We've had a lot of bad losses this year.
We've had a lot of bad losses, and those are going to be tough games. I mean, listen, it's coming down. Look at the schedule. I mean, Sacramento's number 3 team in the Western Conference. Timberwolves are battling for a playoff spot. You got Miami, who's struggling a little bit, but they're still Miami. They always play good against the Bulls. You got the 76ers twice. Dame Lillard, Portland, we're going out west. I mean, those 3 games out west are not going to be easy. I mean, I don't think LeBron James will be playing by the 26th. But, I mean, still the Clippers are playing a little bit better. I mean, most
of those teams have something to play for.
Man, that's a tough stretch.
Yeah, 17 games left on the schedule right now. The Bulls are at 29-35, tied with the Indiana Pacers for the 11th seed. They're a game and a half behind the Washington Wizards.
Which we lost the tiebreaker to Indiana now.
Yeah.
So that's not going to help us out.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Obviously, this is a season that's been disappointing. As Stacey mentioned, a lot of individual talent, 3 guys who are former All-Stars, and you expect a lot more, but sometimes teams just can't get out of the gate, and they struggle all year long, and that's been the case for the Bulls. Hey, we want to bring in one of our great sponsors who's been with us all year, our buddy Jeff Vukovic. He's the man with Nationwide Insurance. When it comes to insurance for your auto, home, and business, make sure you contact the king of insurance, our good friend, Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovic. You know he's been struggling watching the Bulls not being able to put it together as well as we expected this season. You can reach him at jeffvuk.com. So for all your insurance needs, make sure you contact the Vuk at jeffvuk.com. Stacey, you got the jingle in you tonight.
Nationwide is on your side. Woo!
Never disappoints. Even with the Bulls coming off a couple of painful losses, Stacey delivers on the jingle. So make sure you contact Jeff Vukovich for all your insurance needs. The big story around the NBA, of course, is what's going on with Ja Morant. He is away from the Memphis Grizzlies right now. They said it'd be at least 2 games where he released a statement, Ja Morant did, that he's going to try to get some help and try to figure out what's been going on in his personal life. He's been involved in a number of gun-related violent incidents over the past year, and the latest one I'm sure you read about, he was seen in a nightclub outside of Denver waving a gun around, and the league is investigating. Denver area police are investigating, and this continues to get worse because each incident, it seems, you run out of excuses. I mean, you can't say, oh, it's his posse, it's the other guys who are doing things. This was Ja on his own Instagram live account, just basically flaunting it for anybody to see.
It's sad, too, because, this is a kid who's got $231 million invested from Memphis, and they expect him to be here. But with what he's doing right now, being something that he's not, I mean, no one's questioning whether he's tough or not. You don't have to be, if you're tough, you don't need anybody to tell you that you're tough, okay? I'll whoop your ass, but don't mean I got to tell you I'm going to do that. Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you mess with me, then I'm giving you a 2-piece with a biscuit and Fanta orange, okay? But I don't go around telling everybody that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't have to show you don't have to show how bad you are. My dad used to tell me all the time, the loudest dude in the room is always the guy that gets his butt whipped all the time. It's the quiet ones you need to worry about. And so Ja Morant out here, talking and pointing guns, and, it started with verbal stuff, you talking trash to people in games, and then, the Indiana situation where someone pointed a gun at the Indiana players, and he was in the van with them, and now you see him doing this, and he's posing with a gun. It's almost like, okay, what are you trying to prove here? Like, honestly, what are you trying to prove? You're a superstar athlete. You one day you could be possible MVP. Okay, Nike gave you a big deal. They passed on Kyrie Irving. They gave you basically Kyrie Irving's deal. So they have invested a lot of money in you. So are you willing to throw all this away just to prove the point that you're tough? Just to prove the point that you're hood or you're gangster? You're with that. You're with the I'm with all that smoke or whatever. You're not. You were not born this. You weren't born into this kind of stuff. This is most kids who are born in that situation, Mark, who are born on the other side of the track, will try to do anything they can to get out of that environment. They're not trying to go back into it. Once they get out, that's why you see guys like the rappers like Chief Keef. Comes from, from the South Side, Inglewood, O Block, okay? He's a big-time rapper. He doesn't come back. Lil Durk, all these guys, they know if they come back, they're putting themselves in danger coming back here. Most guys who do that, they don't want to come back to where they came from. They want to escape that. And Ja Morant, with doing the stuff that he's doing, and that's not how he was raised. I mean, he did. I mean, there's a skit out there. Michael Rappaport put the skit out there to him and basically clowned him for all the things that he did, like where he said he's from, where he went to school. He went to a private school. His parents are still together. He was, he's brought up in a middle class family. Total opposite of what he's trying to represent. And to be honest with you, he's in Memphis, and there's a lot of stuff going on in Memphis right now. There's a rapper named Young Dolph who got murdered early in the year, and there's an ongoing war going on with that. And he is on the side of the people who so-called, allegedly, had something to do with this rapper, Young Dolph, being murdered. He's on the other side. So you don't want to get caught up in that because those people don't care who you are. To them, you're the enemy. Regardless if you play for Memphis or not, you get no pass. If you run around here throwing up gang signs and you're going around here pointing guns and talking about, I'm going to shoot the ops and all this other stuff, you become a target now. You become the biggest target, which is they call score. You kill somebody like that, that's a big time score. So he better watch himself. That's not something to joke with.
And from the sports perspective, all the stuff that's surrounding Ja Morant has definitely had an impact on the Memphis Grizzlies team. Remember, about 6 weeks ago, they were right there with Denver battling for the number 1 seed in the West, and they've really taken a nosedive over the last 5 or 6 weeks. They had a long losing streak, and they're starting to fade in late in the season. And remember the interview Morant did on ESPN where he said, I'm fine in the West. Nobody. The only team I'm worried about is Boston. We got the West. Well, I think he's kind of regretting saying that.
Well, I tell you what, the situation has gotten so out of hand that Steven Adams called a players only meeting, and so to try to find out what's going on and let's get back on track and focus on basketball and not so much what's going on off the court.
Yeah, and Memphis is one of the youngest teams in the league. I heard today that they don't have a player on their roster that's over 30 years old. So it's like, there's really not anyone to provide that veteran leadership. And you talked about his family. His dad is at a lot of the games. You think that his dad would provide some counsel there?
Well, I mean, you saw his dad. His dad's up, and it's almost like. And listen, I know you could be proud of your son. Your son's at the highest pinnacle. Be proud of him. You sit in the stands, cheer your son on. I mean, you're out there. You're out there, kind of getting into skirmishes with Shannon Sharp and making it more about you than it is about your son.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you're a product of how you're raised. That's what my parents always used to tell me all the time. Is like when you leave this house, you're a reflection of how you're raised. So with the way you act out there, people are going to look at you and go, okay, he's raised that way. So if I go out there acting like a knucklehead and doing stupid stuff, then people are going to say, well, where's his parents at? This is how he was raised. But if you go out there and handle your business, you're respectful of people, you do all the right things, and you carry yourself in a professional manner, people won't look at you that way. They don't look at you as like, oh, there's, when you walk into the elevator, they're hiding their purse because they've seen you on social media. And also social media gets to everybody. Everybody has social media now. Everybody's on IG. Everybody's on TikTok. I mean, you got 80-year-old grandmothers dancing on TikTok. So you've got it out there. Everybody can see what goes on around the world. So when you're putting this stuff out there and you're on Instagram and you're showing a gun, everyone saw that. You can't take that back. You can't say, oh, delete it. Somebody else has got it and has been retweeted over and over and over. And now you put yourself in a situation where the NBA's got to step in and go, hey, wait a minute, maybe this is getting out of hand now.
Yeah, and John Moran with his high-flying dunks, all the great plays that he's had, he brought back memories of a young Derrick Rose. He was rapidly becoming one of the most popular players in the league, and as Stacey mentioned earlier, this could really affect him in the world of endorsements and income off the court. So we'll see what happens to the Memphis Grizzlies. They were a team that a lot of people liked, and now they might be in a situation where they could be a first-round upset victim if they don't get their act together. We've got a special guest coming up, Dave Revsine of the Big Ten Network. Of course, you remember him from years ago where he worked at ESPN, wrote a great book on football. We'll talk about all of that with Dave. Before we do that, I just want to, did you see Giannis pull a Ricky Davis yesterday trying to get that extra rebound? And the league took it away. Thank goodness the league took it away.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. If I would have been the Washington Wizard player that was there, as soon as he shot that and I saw what he was getting ready to do, I'd have knocked it out of bounds.
Yeah.
I would not. Then the clock would expire. And you would.
I'm surprised Giannis did that because normally he plays the game the right way, but that was bad.
That was a bad look. That was a bad look. Giannis, the Greek freak. That was a bad look.
He gave that wink in an interview. He goes, well, I pulled it off. Yeah. Well, no, the league said no. We ain't giving that to you.
No. But I would have knocked it out of bounds. I would have fouled him. I would have done something if I had known that's what he was doing because it was obvious what he was doing. You could tell as he was winding up to go down there. And I don't know who the player was. It might have been Kispert or someone. I don't know. One of the young players from
it was either Kispert or Avdia.
One of them was right there, and they could have done something. They didn't do it. Yeah. So if you're a veteran player on the Wizards, you're telling those guys you don't ever let someone do that.
Can you imagine if that was Charles Oakley standing there?
Charles Oakley would have knocked Giannis into the fourth row. Anthony Mason, guys like we would have done it.
Yeah.
No one. You ain't gonna clown us on our own court. No, bro, that ain't working like that.
So Dave Revsine is on deck. Whispers, we haven't heard from Christopher Walken yet. Tell the folks about how they can get some special Gimme the Hot Sauce.
Oh, thanks, Mark.
The hottest games of the basketball season coming up with March Madness.
It is getting hot out there.
It's hot in here, too.
It is hot. Is there any air in this place? My God. So, if you're looking for hot sauce, you've come to the right place. We got you covered. Get your kitchen so hot and burn your eyeballs out. So stop by GimmeTheHotSauce.com and use code KING21. Get 21% off. And we'll have Whispers pack it up for you.
That's his big skill. He is the expert hot sauce packer.
That's all he's got these days. I just heard he did nothing in high school.
Yeah, he was in the band in the Glee Club.
He was in the band in the Glee Club.
Yeah, Glee Club, probably played with kittens.
And Stacey, tell the folks about your signature burger. Goose Island.
Hey, listen, go down to Goose Islands on Clybourne. Ask for the Stacey King Give Me the Hot Sauce Burger. It is a barbecue burger. It's a steak burger with the barbecue sauce infused in the burger, and then you can still pour the barbecue sauce on top of the burger. Also, you have waffle fries or regular fries, truffle fries, and they have the green St. Pat's Verde aioli sauce that you can dip the fries in. So it's a complete ladies and gentlemen, it's a complete meal with the Gimme the hot sauce. And just remember, when you're eating it and you're sitting there, you get a free bottle of hot sauce with the order. And proceeds go to charity. And she'll like it too.
Dave Revsine on deck as everybody's hungry, looking for something to snack on right now. Give Me the Hot Sauce rolls on, episode 121. It is now our pleasure to welcome in our special guest on Gimme the Hot Sauce. He is Dave Revsine. You see him doing studio work or for the Big Ten Network, does play-by-play for football and basketball, probably covers every other sport that happens around the conference. One of the busiest guys in the media world. Dave, thank you so much for making time to join us. And what's this week going to be like with the men's Big Ten tournament at the United Center?
It's really fun, Mark. Great to be on with both of you, first of all. But it's great for us. This really is kind of our Super Bowl. As odd as that sounds, the Big Ten Network has the first 10 games of the Big Ten tournament. So we have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 2 games on Wednesday, and then all 4 games on Thursday and Friday. So just in terms of viewership, these are some of our biggest days of the year, maybe outside of football Saturdays. And just having the big event, having all of it essentially on our air for those first 3 days is really huge for us. So it's pretty exciting. The league is crazy this year.
Yeah.
Yesterday was one of the oddest days I can ever recall. I mean, when you've got a game tipping off as the last game of the year and one team can either be the 2 seed or the 9 seed, depending on how it comes out, that probably tells you everything you need to know.
That's my next question. I mean, the Big Ten has been very competitive this year, been one of the top conferences in the country. How many teams, Dave, do you think realistically are going to have a chance to get in, and who needs to play well that may be on the outside looking in that can probably sneak in if they have a good tournament?
So, Stacey, I would say, after the Big 12, which I know is near and dear to your heart, the Big 10's probably been the best league in the country. It's certainly the most competitive. In terms of how many teams can make it in, there are probably 11 teams of the 14 that are still in the discussion. I think there are 8 that are in really good shape, although Rutgers is starting to waver just a little bit here. They had an injury, and it's really hurt them a bit. After that, Wisconsin and Penn State are probably in right now, but they are on the bubble. They might need to win a game in Chicago just to feel good. And then the team that really needs to make some hay in Chicago is Michigan. They've got a couple really good wins. They've gone 3 straight overtime games and had a chance in a couple of them and let them slip away. But a really competitive team gave Illinois everything they can handle, Indiana everything they can handle. They beat Northwestern a couple times. They just need to accumulate more of these quad 1 wins. That Rutgers-Michigan game on Thursday is a huge game. And both those teams really need a win heading into that one.
Dave, what do you make about the season that Northwestern has had? There was some talk at the beginning of the year that Chris Collins might be under a little bit of heat if he didn't have a good season this year, and they've performed well above expectations. A little bit of a slump at the end of the year, but they got a big win on Sunday night. The guards are outstanding. If they had Pete Nance on this team, they really could be a handful for some squads.
Yeah, I don't know. They had Pete Nance for 4 years, and, it was what it was. So, obviously, you wish Pete the best. He's a great young guy, and went to Carolina. They've, of course, had a tough year. I mean, I think that's what's so crazy about it, right, is you lose a player in Pete Nance to North Carolina, you lose Ryan Young to Duke, and you get better. You get way better. I mean, not even close. So, I don't know. There are a lot of things that happened here. They hired a new assistant coach, Chris Lowry, who was the coach for a while at SIU and then was on Bruce Weber's staff for many years at Kansas State. He's kind of a defensive specialist, and they really overhauled the defense, and that's been the calling card of this team. They do have good guards. Chase Audish is a really good defensive guard. He has struggled a bit offensively. Boo Buie's been phenomenal offensively and is really, in some senses, carried the team on offense. And then they have a lot of really good role players. This Brooks Barnheiser, who barely played as a freshman last year, has really come on. He had a double-double in that game against Rutgers. So it's really been a team effort. Matt Nicholson, the center, has filled in really admirably in the absence of Young and Nance. It's been a great story. I mean, look, the truth of the matter is they made the tournament in 17. they've had 5 straight losing seasons since. So I think it was kind of fair to question what was going on there, but give a ton of credit to Chris and a ton of credit to those young guys. They've turned it around a big way. It became a really difficult place to play. Their students got way into it, which was fun to see. And it's a neat story. I mean, they're going to be not only in the NCAA tournament, but very comfortably in the tournament. And they're the 2 seed in the Big Ten. It's the first time they finished in the top 2 in the Big Ten, guys, since 1959.
Wow. That's impressive. That's impressive. Now,
it's a while.
I'm looking at Purdue. I mean, Purdue kind of scares me because they look like a team, if everything is going well for them and now they're hitting on all cylinders, they can get to the Final Four and really make some noise. But then there's times you watch them play and they're not playing as physical as they're capable of playing. The big kid, I like, sometimes he didn't play as big as he is. And so I can see that being a problem because, as you know, Dave, guard play is huge in the NCAA tournament. They've got some pretty decent guards, but they've been a little shaky in the losses that they've had. So talk a little bit about that.
They have been. I mean, that's exactly what it's been, Stacey. Look, Zach Edey is a load. He's 7'4". He's got a great chance to be National Player of the Year and a great chance to be Big Ten Player of the Year. We're actually going to announce that all Big Ten teams will get those tomorrow morning and announce them on our Big Ten Today show at 11 o'clock Central Time on Tuesday. But the issue is the guards, and they've got 2 freshman guards, and they're both really good. Like, I mean, I think in a year or 2, they may have the best backcourt tandem in the Big Ten. The issue is kind of how good are they going to be here in March? They both hit a little bit of a wall. Braden Smith is the point guard, kind of a lightly recruited kid from Indiana. He's had some really big moments. He's really athletic. I mean, he's a good player, but people get into, like we saw Illinois get into them on Sunday and really impact them, like make things difficult for those guys, even bringing the ball up the floor. And then the other one is a young man named Fletcher Lawyer, who his brother Foster's a pretty good player who you guys might be familiar with, was at Michigan State, now is at Davidson, having a great year. Again, Fletcher started the year really well. It feels like maybe he's hit a bit of a wall. He's not shooting it great. So that is the concern to me about Purdue is the guard play good enough? Because Edey's phenomenal, but he can only take you so far.
What do you make of Illinois? Brad Underwood is a guy that wears his emotions on his sleeve. You never have to wonder about how he's feeling at any moment in a game. And it seems like his team has kind of taken on that persona. When they're going good, everybody's got a lot of emotion and there's a lot of good camaraderie. And then when they start to fade, it seems like the body language slumps and they fade pretty quickly. Are they a team that could do some damage in the NCAA tournament, or are they just too up and down?
I think they could do some damage, Mark. It really, it always depends on matchups, I guess, ultimately in the tournament. They're just a weird team. They've kind of, they have a bunch of transfers. They lost all 5 starters from last year. And this is kind of what it is in this day and age, kind of for better or for worse. I mean, you can say I don't like it and I wish guys stayed 4 years. Well, they don't anymore. And this is what it is. And so Brad pieced together a team. Some of it is recruits. His freshmen are actually really good. Their point guard, Jaden Epps, I like a lot, but he's actually out. He's in concussion protocol right now. But, Terrence Shannon, Chicago kid, transferred home. He was at Texas Tech. Matthew Meyer was at Baylor, comes in for 1 year. Again, this is Dane Dange is another Baylor guy. This is kind of what it is right now. And it just feels like they still haven't always gelled offensively. Like, they are last in the Big Ten in 3-point percentage in conference play. They're first in 2-point percentage, and yet they shoot the 4th highest percentage of threes of any team in the league.
Wow.
So they don't make threes, but they shoot a lot of them.
Sounds like us.
It's not a good idea.
It's not a great idea. And I, you talk about Brad being frustrated, like that has really frustrated him. And he's talked about it on many different occasions, but it just seems like sometimes they kind of collectively get into this mentality where they just settle. When they don't settle, like when Terrence Shannon's going downhill, you don't want to be in front of him. I mean, he's a real load, and they've got a few guys who are in that mold who can really drive the ball. I guess I just wish they did it more, and if they can harness that somehow, again, they can be really good. I think they're maybe constructed better for the NCAA tournament than they are for the Big Ten. But as we've seen with Illinois in recent years, if you play one bad game in the tournament, and I mean, it's not just Illinois, it's any team, and it's done. So we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I would say it's been a slightly disappointing season just based on the amount of talent they have. Because I think from like a sheer talent point of view, they might be the best team in the Big Ten.
When I look at the NCAA tournament and when I start thinking about the Big Ten, I always think about Tom Izzo. His team always looks like a totally different team when they come out of the Big Ten because they're one of the most. They've always been one of the most physical teams for the longest. I mean, when they're in the tournament, they beat you up on the offensive glass. They're just a physical team, which a lot of teams in the NCAA tournament are not used to seeing that type of play. And so when they get into the tournament, they seem like they hit a different gear and they're a different team. That's the team I think that people should really watch going into the NCAA tournament, depending on where they get seeded and depending on what region they're in. But they could be a surprise team going deep, making a deep run, at least to the Sweet 16 round.
I'm with you, Stacey. I mean, look, Tom Izzo, the record speaks for itself. Obviously had incredible success in March. This team is a little different. I don't know how much you've been able to watch them this year. They do not have a traditional big in the way that they have in past years. And so I would say they're probably better offensively, frankly, this year than they are defensively. They have some really good shooters. I like their guards a lot. They've got 3 guards. Tyson Walker is another transfer from Northeastern, kind of got acclimated last year, and I think's really made a huge step this year. He is a big shot maker. Like when it comes down to the end of the game, he wants the ball in his hands. They have another really physical guard, A.J. Hogard, who's kind of he's stocky, he's tough, he can get to the hoop. And then Jaden Akins is kind of a wild card for them. He's had some really good games as well. So I worry a little bit about that 5 spot. It just hasn't been what it's been in the past. They just don't have a guy they can dump it inside to and get a bucket. And, do you need that? I mean, not necessarily. You guys have made the point that March Madness is a guards game usually. And I like Michigan State's guards. I like Tom Izzo. They're playing better here down the stretch than they were earlier in the year. The weird thing is in the Big Ten this year, Michigan State is a team we always talk about. And I just don't feel like we've talked about them as much as we have in past years. And so maybe it's kind of they've got everyone right where they want them.
Selection Sundays become somewhat of a national holiday for sports fans. Everybody's got their brackets out trying to figure out which teams are going to shock the experts and make a deep run. Of course, you've covered the Big Ten primarily, but I know you watch a lot of college basketball around the country. If you could, give our listeners a couple of dark horse teams maybe you like to go further than their seed might indicate.
Dark horses. I like Xavier a lot. I think that's a really good team. That would be one that I'd kind of throw into my bracket. I don't know if I know UCLA is not a dark horse, but I've watched them a lot this year just because they're coming into the Big Ten. And so I'm kind of wanted to familiarize myself. Man, I think they're really good. Like in the right situation, they could make a really deep run. That could be a Final Four team. Again, they may very well be a number 1 seed. So I don't think that's necessarily a dark horse pick, but they're someone that's kind of jumped off the page in watching them a lot this year. Other than that, I like Arizona a lot. I don't necessarily see them as a dark horse either, but, another Pac-12 team that I've had an opportunity to watch some this year that I think could make some noise. But I would just say this, if you're going to base your bracket on what I think, you're in big trouble.
We all feel that way, Dave.
Because I haven't won even the dog beats me sometimes in the family bracket pool. So I sometimes think like you, and I don't know if you guys feel this way, like with the NBA, like the more you know, the less you know.
Yep.
Like you just kind of the paralysis by analysis. You're like constantly thinking about this, and I would even say it just within the Big Ten. I think I know what's going to happen from week to week. And this year's been crazy, but I just feel like a lot of the times, I just don't. And that's the beauty of this tournament is, that the guy in, accounting or, human resources who never watches a game all year is the one who ends up winning the darn thing because he picked, uniform colors or, what vowels are in school names, and that's what makes it great.
One of the things I've noticed over the last few years compared to years past, especially like when I played, you're starting to see the teams. These guys are one and done; they're gone, which really hurts.
Yeah.
The universities, but the older teams, the guys with you saw Brady Manick last year leave Oklahoma to go to North Carolina. That was a huge difference in North Carolina making a run in the tournament, and now you see Brady Manick gone, and they're not the same team. They don't have that leadership, veteran. Houston Cougars, to me, looks like that kind of team where those guys are older. They're on their third and fourth year. They're battle tested, and they got a coach that's probably one of the best coaches in college basketball, and Kelvin Sampson. Talk a little bit about that, Dave, and what you've seen out of that.
Yeah, Houston's really good. I think that Kelvin kind of has this reputation as being a great defensive coach, which he is. So I'm not saying it's not a well-earned reputation. But, like, you watch them, they can score, Stacey.
Yes.
I don't know how much you guys watch them, but they are a good offensive team as well. I mean, they're going to be a 1 seed. They may end up being the number 1 overall seed. I guess my hesitation is they are not in a great league. And we've seen this with Gonzaga through the years, and I love Mark Few. I covered them a lot when I was at ESPN. I did a ton of their games, spent a lot of time in Spokane, and really got to know him and admire his program. And I'm not saying that they won't someday win a national championship, but it's just hard, I think, sometimes when you don't face that same level of competition week in and week out. We have certainly seen some mid-majors make great runs. We saw, Butler do it with Brad Stevens. I mean, it can be done. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying it's hard when you haven't been like every night through the grind. And I think that's the issue with Houston. It's been the issue sometimes with Gonzaga and St. Mary's and some of these other schools. So that's my only hesitation. I mean, they're going to guard the heck out of you. As you said, they have veterans. They can score. They're a really good team. I just wonder about that when you just don't have a game where you say, well, we know we're going to win this one. There's no such game as that in the NCAA tournament. And there's no game like that in the Big 12, and there's no game like that in the Big 10. And so I just wonder whether maybe that gives some of those other teams a little more of an advantage.
Hey, Dave, before we let you go, I know that people who follow the show remember you from your days at ESPN. You crossed paths with a couple of guys I work with, and Pat Boyle and Chuck Garfien. Yeah. You got any favorite memories or a story from your time at ESPN that you'd like to share with our audience?
Oh, man. I mean, that's like a whole nother podcast, Mark. Just so many great memories. It really was it was a wonderful experience for me. I mean, I was the weekend anchor at the worst station in the Quad Cities. I'd been in the business for 3 years, and I got hired at ESPN.
Wow.
For the launch of ESPN News with Chuck. Pat came a little bit later, as I recall, but Chuck was one of the first anchors with me, and Mike Greenberg was there, and Michael Kim, who does some work in this market. And man, like, we just didn't know what we didn't know. And it was, we were hired for ESPN News, which like no one could actually get for the first 6 months. And they just kind of threw us into the deep end to see whether or not we could swim. And it was amazing. I would just say, like, I always think back to those first days and at the very beginning, like maybe 2 weeks in, we had an all-staff, on-air staff meeting. And so, I'm 3 weeks removed from being the weekend anchor at the worst station in the Quad Cities. And I'm sitting in this room, like, with Berman and Tirico and Dan and Keith. I mean, it was the height of ESPN. And you really did. I mean, like, I really thought, like, it's just going to be, hey, you're on candid camera, and they were going to come in and help me out. But it's just an amazing experience. I left. This was an incredible opportunity for me. It's turned out to be life-altering, but I left on the greatest of terms. They couldn't have treated me better on my way out the door, and I kept a lot of great friends there, and it was just amazing. I mean, it was an amazing experience. There's so many talented people there, and I learned a ton. I was there for more than a decade, and yeah, nothing but fond memories. But again, like, you get Chuck and Pat and me in a room and, maybe with a few alcoholic beverages. And, man, there'd be some good stories. There's some wild times. It's just like it's just you always felt like if people only knew, right? We're the worldwide leader. The chaos that's going on constantly trying to get the thing on the air. It was remarkable.
I got one more question before we let you go. We talk about, because you're around the college game, and I'm looking at this portal, and I'm not saying I don't like it, but I think it's hurting the game to the point where people can just leave every year. Like, I don't like that, where they're able to transfer. I mean, I know there's a couple guys at Oklahoma that have been to 3 schools since they left, and to me, I just think it's really hurting the college game. You should be able to only leave one, Dave. One time. Just one time. If you want to transfer because you don't like the school or whatever, the coach leaves, goes, gets another job. If you want to leave, you get an opportunity to leave one time. That's it. And then the next choice, you're there for the remaining of the time that you're in school. But this leaving, like, I dream of Jeannie blinking the eyes and you just, bleep, I'm going to another school. I'm not a big fan of that because it just hurts the game to me.
Well, I'll say this, Stacey. We've got a player. It's a player in our league, Michael Head, who plays for Penn State, who's on his 5th school.
Yeah. Wow.
His 5th school.
Wow.
Like that wouldn't have even been possible, right?
No.
Not for the pandemic, because, of course, everyone got an extra year. I don't know. I mean, look, the argument of you shouldn't be able to leave it all, and I'm not saying you're saying that, but I mean, the horse is out of the barn and running across the pasture, and it's just not fair that coaches can be as transitory as they are and the players not be able to leave it all. I certainly don't disagree with your solution potentially. I would say, as an addendum to that if you did want to leave, if you go somewhere and you transfer and it doesn't work out for whatever reason, you want to leave again, maybe then you do sit out a year. I think one of the things that is a problem, Stacey, is that when you transfer, not all your credits come with you. And I guess I'm just naive enough to believe that we're still at least somewhat in the educational business.
Yes.
And that, that if kids don't get a college degree, we've done them a disservice.
Yes.
And so that is like, that's the one part of it that really bothers me. And I know there are people who would laugh at me and just say, like, it's not about that. But for most of the kids, they're not going to play professionally.
Exactly.
And so if it isn't about that, it should be about that. And somebody should say to them, hey, this is really important to you. You're getting this opportunity. You're getting a free college education. Like, I'm going to be paying for 3 college educations next year simultaneously. So, there is value in that. And again, I understand those young people have value, and that is being addressed in their opportunity to profit off name, image, and likeness. And so it is more of a two-way street than it once was. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm saying it's better. But again, I just want to see if there would be a way that, like, everyone kind of come together and agree and do what is best for the kids. And I do believe letting them transfer without sitting out is best for the kids, but also being cognizant of kind of all these other things that this is supposed to be about, and education is one of them.
That's one of my biggest things is the fact that I've always said what the NCAA should do is, because everybody's not a pro athlete. Everybody's not going to get drafted in the NBA. Everybody's not going to get drafted in the NFL, where you don't hear about the kids who put their name in and then they don't make it. And I think they should be doing documentaries on those kids to deter some other kids who say, wait a minute, this kid was really good at the University of Maryland. He's an all-conference player, whatever, and he didn't get drafted, and now he can't go back to school. He can't go back and play. And I think that the NCAA should allow those kids to come back and play. Even if they don't get drafted, they should still be able to come back and get education. And they still should be able to play for their college. You're penalizing them because they put their name in the draft to be professionals. They're not professionals. They didn't make it. So they should be able to come back and play on their college team and get an education. I think that rule needs to be changed. That's just my opinion.
I agree 100%. I mean, there's a deadline where you have to remove your name. Why do you have to remove your name? Like, go through the draft. And if you don't get drafted, then let's circle back. Or if you don't like where you're picked, absolutely. I mean, again, I think we ought to be falling all over ourselves to make this the best opportunity it can be for young people. And whatever we can do to accommodate, like the world is imperfect. People make decisions that they soon realize are bad decisions. And yeah, I agree with you. You shouldn't be penalized for it. Now, coaches will tell you, well, it's hard to plan my roster. I mean, at a certain point, I got to replace a kid. Like if he tells me he's going pro. And so are there ways that you can, if you allow for one kid to come back, you're over the limit for a year, and then the next year you have to be one below the limit. Maybe you average 13 scholarships a year over the course of 5 years, whatever it would be. I just think there are ways, like there are a lot of smart people, at least in theory in this, because it is education, right? So there ought to be at least a few smart people. And it just feels like there ought to be ways that we can make it work, because I'm with you. I mean, it's really a shame if someone loses out on that opportunity because someone, their great uncle told them, you should declare for the NBA.
Hey, Dave, thank you for being so generous with your time. You got a busy week ahead with the Big Ten tournament here in Chicago at the United Center. So thank you so much, and maybe we'll have you back. We'll tell more ESPN stories. It was a lot of fun.
We'd have to have Boyle and Garfine on, though, too. Yeah, that'd be fun.
That sounds like a plan. Dave Revsine, our guest on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Boy, it was a lot of fun getting a chance to talk with Dave Revsine of the Big Ten Network as everybody's getting ready for March Madness Selection Sunday coming up this weekend. And if you've forgotten, we want to remind you, we've got a contest going on here with the Gimme the Hot Sauce crew. See if you can beat Stacey, Tim, and myself in filling out a bracket. We are teaming up with our friends at Run Your Pool for a bracket challenge. Head over to play.runyourpool.com/hot sauce. After the bracket is announced this coming Sunday, fill out your picks to the best of your ability and see if you can do better than the three of us. First prize, it keeps going up. It's $500 now. Wasn't it $400 last week?
Yeah, they added some other prizes, so now there's 5 prizes in total. And so I guess 6th prize will be some hot sauce, or maybe we mix it somewhere in the middle.
Well, that's great. So make sure that you get your entry in, because you get a chance to win some money. This may not, this is our first crack at it, so you may not get as many people entering as you do in other bracket challenges. So you got a good chance to win. We appreciate all the people that join us every week for our live YouTube show, and I know that they're going to fill out their brackets to see if they can compete with us. I think they want to beat Whispers more than anything, right, Whispers?
Well, we just got some insight there on who the dark horses are. They're all number 1 picks.
Well, yeah. Well, what did you think of his take on Northwestern?
I would agree with that. It's a crapshoot like a lot of those teams.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, like you said, if they had lost that game to Rutgers, they would have sank all the way to 9.
They would have sank, yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
I'm playing the percentages. Northwestern will be gone the first weekend. And I love Chris Collins. That's my boy. But I just don't think they're the way they play. I just don't know, man. It doesn't translate. The guard play in NCAA tournament is huge, man. You gotta have some veteran guards. You got to be able to have guards control the pace, be able to get guys shots, and then have guards that when the shot clock's winding down, they can go get buckets. Or you better have you a good big man that you can throw that ball into. As he was talking about, Michigan State doesn't have.
Boo Booey.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about that.
Where's Oklahoma seated this year?
Oh, I don't go there.
First of all,
that was coming.
First of all, America, I went to Houston. Okay, Houston Cougars. We're number 1, baby. Number 1, baby.
He's a Georgia football fan. He's a Houston Cougar basketball fan.
You know what, Mark? You don't need to tell everybody that. We're not in football season right now. They didn't know that. But you just let the cat out the bag.
There's all that portal stuff he did back in the day.
We're not talking about Jacob Portal either. We're talking about the transfer portal.
Oh, my God.
That's transformed college
I'll tell you
athletics.
what, if there would have been a portal, boy, if they would have had a portal while I was there, man, I'm going to tell you something. It wasn't for Lois and James King, I might have jumped in the portal.
Right.
My mom and dad made me go back to Oklahoma when I was going to transfer. They said, hey, you are going back. This is where you wanted to go. You're going to stay there. I don't care if you play another minute. You're going to get a degree. And if you don't play another minute, I don't care. So my parents said that's when your parents had to sign off on it if you were under a certain age. So like, 18, 19 years old, you had to sign off on it. My parents refused to sign the letter, and I had to go back with my tail between my legs after threatening to leave. I had to go back, and the rest is history. Wait a minute. And I went back, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, can we get the camera over there? Show the jersey. Retired over there. Okay, guys. America. I almost left. But I stayed, and this is what happened.
That's right.
I'm one of 4 jerseys retired in the 105-year history of University of Oklahoma basketball. There's only 4 of us that are retired right now, and I'm one of those 4. So I like to send a shout-out to myself.
Consensus All-American, the number 6 pick in the 1989 NBA draft.
America, do you even know what consensus? Do anybody know what consensus means? That means you're the first team All-American on every list. Consensus. Yeah. Not part-time, partial All-American. I was the 3rd team All-American my junior year. My senior year, consensus, okay? And D, you know what? Does your shirt run off batteries over there, okay? Other than that, you need to be quiet, okay? All right, I'm done talking to you. I'm done talking to America. I'm done tooting my own horn. Beep, beep.
Wow, and Stacey was driving those luxury automobiles back in his days at Oklahoma.
I took a pay cut. Yeah. I took a pay cut when I came to the league. Oh, baby, 20 years statute. What do you call that? Statute of limitation.
That's
They can't get me now, NCAA tournament. You can't get me now, baby. I broke a lot of rules back in the day, man. I took a pay cut when I got to the league.
And we want to put all the folks in the Chicagoland viewing area in a nice brand new automobile, courtesy of our friends at Biggers Mazda. Their sizzling new Elgin location at Randall Road is the biggest Mazda store in the state of Illinois. Biggers is offering a bottle of Stacey's signature hot sauce with first test drives of new or pre-owned vehicles. It's your choice, everything from the coolest SUVs to the stunning Miata. So join the fun at 2100 Randall Road in Elgin at Biggers Mazda and tell them the Gimme the Hot Sauce crew sent you. I don't know exactly what it'll get you, but it might get you a bottle of hot sauce if you test drive a car.
It'll get you walk right out the door. If you're not there to buy a car, you might as well turn back in, get back in your car and go somewhere else, okay?
Stacey, did you have people over for the big UFC card last week?
Yeah, who came over.
Yeah, all the boys?
Little ungrateful children. So come over to eat all the food, drink.
Did you enjoy the card?
Yeah, hey, did you see it, Tim?
Oh, it was great, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to tell you something. John Jones being away for 4 years and going up against arguably the second baddest heavyweight next to Francis Ngannou, who left, probably arguably the second best heavyweight, destroyed him with. I mean, as soon as the bell rang, it was like something like Mike Tyson when you see Mike Tyson in prime, and he just went and just beat him up in 10 seconds. It was very similar to that. I mean, I looked at John Jones's body. I was like, man, he looks like he's a little flabby. I was a little nervous. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. This weight might be too much for him. And man, he went out there and destroyed. It took Francis Ngannou like the entire fight to get to be able to win that fight. And John Jones, it took less than 2 minutes to submit him. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and then the fight before that.
Oh, with Valentina?
Yeah, that was great.
Okay, yes. The Bullet, Valentino, okay? She was dominating the fight. The whole fight. Dominating. Then she gave up her back and got choked out. A lot. But I give listen, Alexa Grasso, listen, I would tell you this though. Not discrediting her. She's a fighter. Like that girl, she's gonna beat a lot of people. Her hands are unbelievable. She can box. Yeah, she can box. She might beat the what's the other game? The one the other female champion. What's her name? I forgot her name. The Lioness. Oh my God! Here we are. Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes. I thought had the best hands. Modelo. I thought, she drinks Modelo, yeah. I thought she had the best hands.
So does Lori Lightfoot, apparently.
Oh, wow.
Did you see that photo?
No. Wow. Leave Lori alone, man. She's recovered right now. Leave her alone.
She a lion?
Wow, you guys.
She had security going into Walgreens to get a 24-pack.
Wow, you guys.
I don't blame her.
Listen, you guys are kicking a woman when she's down. Look, Miss Lightfoot, I'm not part of this team doing this to you, okay? We wish you well on your journey and wherever else you're going.
For Beetlejuice too.
Wow. Wow. Okay, we just lost another sponsor. We lost another sponsor. Me and Mark do not. We're not part of that.
The comments of Tim Kelley do not necessarily reflect the rest of the Gimme the Hot Sauce crew.
Wow.
They do reflect my views.
That's
the opinions of Tim Kelley are his own.
Wow.
Send all your comments to Tim Kelley at Telleray.
That's terrible. But anyway, Grasso can throw them hands. She might be the second. She might even be better than Nunes as far as boxing is concerned because she gave Valentina a problem because Valentina was like, she's a good fighter too. And she didn't want no part of them hands. She went to try to take down. You could tell when someone doesn't want to stand there and exchange blows. And, normally she just dominates people. She beats them up on stand-up and then on the ground. But she could tell with this girl, like, this girl hit me a couple times in the chin. I don't want any part of that. I think I better take her down with a single-leg takedown.
We're going to wrap things up today with a different category. We talk about man code violations. Today, I got one. Well, you got a man code violation. All right, here we go.
A serious man code violation. I forgot to tell y'all to put this on. So Saturday, I go get a massage. Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna say the name where I went to go get it, but I'll go get a massage. So it's one of these downtown. I'm not telling you the names, but so I'm in there getting a massage, and I'm on the table, and I wanted to try this place out because my buddy said, "Hey, try this place out. They do great massages, blah, blah, blah." So I'm like, all right, cool, try it out. So I had the day off, so I went down there. So I'm going to get a massage, and I'm on my stomach. And so my hands are behind my back with my hands cuffed.
In handcuffs?
No. Oh, wow. Hey, when I finish this story, it might not have been out of the realm of possibility. Okay. So I got my hands behind me. I got my hands behind me. So the guy, he was doing my back, and he was putting his elbow in there. And so he gets up on the table. Swear to God, gets up on the table. And so he's coming across my hands, and his junk is in my hands. Like literally, I was like asleep, and he come. You get up on the table, and he's straddling me, and his like man parts was in my hands.
Oh,
and I went like this. I hit him I gave him like a cup check, like, get off me, what are you doing?
And we're not talking about Mitch cup check.
No, we're not doing that. And it was, Mark, I felt violated.
Yeah, I think you were.
I got flustered. I was like, so I got up at the table. I said, hey man, look.
You already got your tip.
Look, bro. Look. It ain't that type of party. He's like, Mr. Keem, I'm so sorry. I said, man, you could have walked around the table. You didn't have to do all that. He climbed up on the table and literally had his my hands were like this. This is how they were, America. They're just like this. And I got big hands, okay? I got big hands. So as you can see, these hands are pretty big. So I have him down, I'm behind my back, and he just straddles my back, trying to get over to the left side to elbow me. And I'm like, he had like some like little tennis shorts on. I was like, hey, first of all, that was a man code violation. Walking in and giving a man a massage with little tennis shorts on, right? Little white ones, like John used to wear. Yeah. Okay. So
he was all oiled up too, like John.
No, he wasn't all oiled up, Tim. Okay, but it was a man code violation. The first thing I thought about was you clowns. Okay, the first thing I thought, I said, oh my God, wait till they hear about this. No one's gonna believe me. So I was just flustered the whole time. I didn't even get to enjoy my massage. I just said, hey man, just stop.
Does this ever happen to you, Mark?
Nothing like that's never happened.
No.
And D, he was going to call the police on you. Isn't that weird?
Yes. Listen, hey, listen, man. Listen,
it's the stuff
and it was raining too. It was raining too, and then he had the nerve to offer me some candy afterwards. They had this little certain, and I ain't gonna lie, I like the candy. It's like this strawberry candy they give you. So he said, Mr. King, would you like some candy? This was afterwards, and then I kind of felt like, wow, that's really bad. Now you did something wrong, so now you're gonna try to make it better by giving me candy.
Make it better.
I don't want candy. Give me money. Forget the candy.
Did he take it out of his tennis shorts?
Yeah, man, I'm not okay. I'm done, America. That was the man code violation.
Hey, we were going to talk about the jackass of the week,
the jackass of the week.
Instead of John Morant, Stacey's massage therapist is our jackass of the week. So
all I know his name was Mark. That's all I know. And it wasn't his Mark, but his name. No. Hell no, I wouldn't let Mark touch me in some tennis shorts. It was another Mark, and he was a strong dude too. He was like, man.
Why didn't you say anything? You have a ball gag in, or what was going on?
Listen, dude, it caught me off guard. Okay, if you've been in America, if you've had a massage, you're in there to relax, deep tissue. You're like almost going to sleep. They're playing some kind of music to make you go to sleep, and I guess they pour some kind of gas down, some mist, and it makes you go to sleep. I think it's
that's a whole different story right there.
So
a bunch of gas to knock you out.
Wow.
Oh no!
It's like water.
No.
It's like oil. It's oil, like water that's soft. It's like water mist. It's like a mist. Like when you go in the grocery store and they spray the water on the vegetables. It's kind of like that.
This just keeps getting worse, America.
So America. I was out. I was halfway asleep. I was sleeping, enjoying the massage, and then all of a sudden, oh man!
Did Deshaun Watson tell us about this
Whispers
place?
To sum it up.
Pork and beans.
Whispers to sum it up. They gassed Stacey. They knocked him out, and he woke up with a guy choking his head,
wearing little tennis shorts.
Oh my God!
and all oiled up.
Okay.
And then gave him candy that he ate.
Okay. See, I try to come here. I'm trying to say I was scarred. America, I was scarred. I was devastated what happened to me, okay?
Man.
And I try to tell my friends for a little sympathy here, and look how they treat me. You guys
I'm
really
going to need
bad.
therapy, and I wasn't even there.
That's the kind of hard-hitting entertainment you only get on Give Me the Hot Sauce, ladies and gentlemen.
He was trying to give me some hot sauce. I didn't take it, baby. Ah, Lord, help me, Jesus. Oh, Lord.
Wow. Oh boy, there's the end.
Hey, is Mike outside, or do you give him the night off since it's so
no,
late?
Mike's here, man. Mike's here.
So
Mike's.
I think he's probably rolling in the limo, laughing at that story.
Listen, Mike took me there.
Oh,
Mike was the one who drove me around.
and so he had to hear the whole story.
No, I didn't tell him the story because I was
knows
so
now.
embarrassed.
He's listening.
Oh, Mike, I'm there. Mike, keep that to yourself, baby. Keep it here. All right, this is a shout out to my boy Mike Amaroth, who's a big Bruce Springsteen fan. He went to Portland, almost got snowed out, but he made it to the concert. When it comes to insurance, that's the wrong one. Oh, that's wrong. So I'm sorry. Windy City Limousine provides championship service. Making a reservation is so easy; it's a slam dunk. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic and get you to your destination in style and on time. Contact us at 847-916-9300 or visit WindyCityLimos.com and you get a discount at the massage parlor that Mike took me to that I knew nothing about until I walked in there and got violated.
Don't use code King21 there.
No.
Don't use baby oil, baby.
Yeah.
Keep yourself. If the mist comes down, put your tray. Do this, America. Don't smell it because you'll go out like me.
I just feel sorry for all the people who are listening to this episode and they gave up after the Dave Revsine interview because what they missed is,
That's why you got to
an
stay
all-time
That's why you
classic.
got to stay on the show because you never know what's going to happen.
You never know what's going to happen
like
at
those
the end.
movies. Remember the movies when they show the credits and you always tell you to stay at the end. There's some kind of little storyline there. This is like giving us the same way.
So if you have a friend who said, I heard the Dave Revsine interview, but then I cut out, tell them they got to listen to the third segment because that's an all-timer. I don't know how we recover from that, so I guess the best thing we can do is say goodbye, wish Stacey best of luck. He's got a trip to Denver and Houston coming up. Yes. Hopefully get a couple of wins, get back in the race.
Denver. Yeah. Edibles, Denver. I'm coming, baby.
Don't go for a massage in Denver.
Fast, baby. Oh, Lord, I'm coming, Denver. It's legal there, baby. It's legal. Drive home safely, Chicago. Beep, beep.
Derek Rose can go upstairs. Let me step back and kiss myself. MVP time. Windy City Assassin does it again.